Hi, how are you doing? This is Pastor Cheryl. I have promised you at least a sermon or, a homily a week. And homilies are short sermons. They're about between 10 and 20 minutes, maybe 10, 12 minutes long, something small. And so, anyway, today we have been going through um, Acts 2, verse 42, which I did a short with. Those are for those people just for the Bible study. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to the fellowship of the breaking of bread, and everyone was filled with awe, and wonders and signs were being performed through the apostles. Now all the believers were together and held all things in common. They sold their possessions and property and distributed the proceeds to all as all had needed. Every day they devoted themselves to meeting together in the temple and broke bread from house to house. They ate their food with joyful and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all people. Every day the Lord added to their number those who were being saved. Our church has potential to grow. And I've been harping at our group about this for years. And we have someone who's kind of in charge of the congregation, has made himself in charge of the congregation. So he's telling them to invite no new people and do not donate. What do you think that he was hoping to succeed with that? I don't know. But now he's not able to come because he can't climb a staircase. And I think, well, maybe this is a good thing that God gave me a place with a staircase. The rent was cheap. It was attractive. It was like a few doors down from where I used to live. I still had the same neighbors. I could still witness to the many Muslims that walk through here and talk to them. And they have their own faith. It's similar to Christianity, but not quite. And then you have to learn the little differences and the little similarities. And, they love Bible stories and they love reading about the Bible. They love hearing about it. And I like telling them stories about my conversations with God. You know what? It sticks with them. You tell them that you have a dream, you dreamt something. They pay attention to that. You had a dream. They believe dreams. And I've had a few prophetic dreams in the past, and some things I just don't care to share with other people because I think they're going to think I'm crazy, Yeah, people want to know. I guess discovered people really want to know those things. We have a vision with using our meditation garden. It's just not to sit, it's to use. And it was donated to us. And we have it full of furniture, and there's a little chapel. And so this summer we will be inviting Churches United, like we usually do. And if there's any vandalism again, then we take pictures and send it off to the police. Their website is hard to use. It likes to jump around. And so I just decided just to send them a little email. This is what's going on. The cops notice that stuff. They really do. And then they go out there and investigate. We have we have a couple problem neighbors. And so one of them, a problem neighbor, is dangerous and goes out and screams and yells at the old people. Yeah, I guess right in their face. He doesn't have the right to do that. He's just nuts. So I equipped our congregation with some pepper spray. Mace. Good for them, right? So they can defend themselves because this guy actually might hit. And because he thinks he owns the road. He thinks he owns the entire road. Actually owns a little corner, about 10 feet of it. Just walk around it. It's right at the end. Just walk around that. The city's got it blocked because of him. Because of him. He's really crazy. And then there's, we want to have healing services. And we want to have, we have the potential to have a revival out there. We really do. We got the room and the space and the chairs. We really do. We've got years of collecting furniture and putting it out there for weddings and worship services. And we could do that. And so here, you've got the early church people having a revival and doing exciting things together. And they are selling all of their possessions and distributing it and giving to the poor. They're generous. They were generous back then. Our people do not donate. They don't donate to their own church. They don't tithe to their own church. Shame on them. So we have 2 new members, and they seem willing to invite new people. The other 3 were not willing to invite new people. They just said they didn't know anybody. Come on now. Anyway, we have potential with this group to do this. I don't know how much longer we have, because look at the news. This war in Iran. According to the prophet Brandon Biggs, and I follow him, the Antichrist flag will be the Iranian flag with a few alterations. And it's thought that the Antichrist will kind of subdue the entire world with just 1 hour. Well, in order to do that, he would have to have a bomb, right? Yeah, he would have to have a nuclear bomb. And eventually Iran probably will develop one and then decide that they're going to take over the Mideast, which is their goal. That's what all those, that buried equipment and tunnels was all about, is they wanted to take over the entire Mideast, the entire thing. And so if they have a nuclear bomb, well, yeah, that's what they'll do. They'll, get them, the whole group to sign like a treaty with them or something, and they will take over. Trump is trying to prevent that. I think we've been giving him a heads up. But he's been fulfilling all the prophecies having to do with, so far, with having to do with the Antichrist. And so, I like this 10-headed committee of kings without kingdoms. Well, that's his peace committee. Sure, so he puts together a peace committee and kind of declares war with Israel on Iran, because Iran has attacked Israel over and over and over with strange gangland names like Hezbollah and whatever, And we're hearing about all this, and this has been going on for years. This has been going on for years. We've got something going on in the Mideast. Oil. What's been going on in South America? Drugs. So they're going to pair off. Like Venezuela with Iran, they were pairing off. Drugs and oil. That's the issue. Money. Okay? We're going to go into a depression. And when we do that, those countries with money will be able to afford things. Yeah. Now expect Iran to attack us, since we helped Israel and they're blaming it all on us, right? Because our ships were out in the harbor. And so, and then we help Israel fight their war. We were fighting their war for them. You kind of wonder about that. It's just like, it kind of gets into ethics, and I don't have a problem with them bombing things. Bombing their bombs, bombing their equipment, bombing things. I do have a problem with them bombing civilians. We don't target civilians. They do. They've been shooting thousands of missiles into the air at Israel, and a few of them have gone through that golden dome. They call it a golden dome. It's a thing that shoots down missiles coming at them. Yeah. Excuse me here. My favorite drink. See, I was a school teacher. Can you tell? Okay. Anyway, we need to keep this in prayer because they are going to retaliate. And many have had visions of New York City, it's full of people, right? Getting bombed. We also have a large Navy base there. I think they'll be going for the naval base, and they will shoot a really big nuclear weapon into New York City. Guaranteed it'll be oversized. And I think that they will be using Russia to do this because Russia's got the submarines. They've got the equipment. And Russia's paired off with them, and you should see the Kremlin's response to Trump doing his crazy stuff. But meantime, Putin and Trump are best friends, right? Does that make sense? No. But that's them. That's them. And it's crazy stuff. But we do have potential with our group to grow, and we might have a couple summers left over before they finally hit us. And it'll be a surprise. And we know, those of us who have had prophetic dreams, we know they will eventually hit us, okay? So we have this outdoor chapel. We should use it. It's really pretty. We have a couple that have moved into, we have a new family that's moved into the apartment below me. And she was a woman with 3 little girls. I mean, really little. And oh, they're cute. I love little kids. They moved in with no furniture. Sleeping on the floor. Until she can get stuff. First thing she brought in was a mattress and set it up for her and her kids. And they're tiny little kids. And so then the next thing will probably be bunk beds for the children. And there will be probably a sofa. And then they'll add other things. They need a kitchen table. Even a card table would do. If someone would like to donate something like that to them, that would be a good thing. And you know where I stay. Excuse me here. And we are going to have our cookouts in the yard again. Worship services out at the chapel. And then cookouts in the yard. Or if we can't do the yard because we have a few people that are handicapped, we'll be meeting in a local park. And watch our website on Facebook for that. It'll be called Goose Hollow. It's a prayer thing. Okay? And our church is Ecumenical Fellowship Church. It's also on Facebook. But we post a lot of stuff on the Goose Hollow Meditation Garden page. So keep track of that. And we will have our events. We'll probably be meeting in a park with a bathroom that will be close to a picnic table for those people who are handicapped and walking with walkers. And we have people like that. So far, I don't need a walker, knock on wood, so far. But now and then I do walk with a cane, but I can get up the staircase and I have a nice view. I have a view. And I saw the place, and I just thought, oh, this is attractive, And it was like $100 less than anything else. I had a lot of square footage, which that impressed with me. But I didn't know that we had a problem up here with mice. They do, right? I might have to invest in a cat. to catch the mice. Yeah. So, and cats are good at that. The young cats. When they get older, they don't catch mice anymore. They just watch them go by. Like, oh, well, we've got a mouse. My dog, however, tries to catch the mice. It's so unlike a collie, but he does. He goes after the mice. It's kind of funny. You know, they disappear, and then he doesn't know what to do. They go zoom, and then they disappear. And he tries chasing them. Anyway, so they had an interesting, good time breaking fellowship and bread for prayer. We do have communion. Breaking bread, we do that. And have dinner together. And I would like to see this group share more. You know, like some of us have clothes that don't fit us anymore, that might actually fit somebody else in the group, you know, who's probably very low income. The people in the group are low income. Most of them are seniors. And just share more of their things. That would be nice, right? And we need more help with mowing the lawn, you know, and then I get little clay balls with flower seeds in it so they could throw it up on the hillside. They enjoy doing that. Planting flowers with these little clay balls with flower seeds in them. It's called flower bombs. Yeah, the hillside is really too steep to crawl up there and put in flowers. I'm serious. I'm serious. It's serious steep, you know. And the hill going down there is steep too. And so we can help with putting in more flowers and more vegetation that actually can be eaten for the poor. We also need to put in a food box. Okay, like a food pantry. We'll put in a food box and we will fill it. And I know another pantry, a food pantry, that would be willing to fill it. Okay? Yeah. And then that'll get Mr. Brown across the way, who likes to go out there and scream and yell at the seniors, to stop doing that, because there's only one way in there. You know, that real steep road going down Western, it's like 45-degree angle. Okay. That's not a good way for a group of seniors in wheelchairs and walkers and canes to be walking in. The flat going straight in, that works better. And he's going to have to learn to get used to it. It'll be open up to Churches United in the area, black churches. That's a black neighborhood. Used to be, it was one of the very first black areas via the Underground Railroad in Davenport. Davenport was an Underground Railroad area. It was an Underground Railroad thing. And then we will be having healing services like they did here, you know, in Acts. We will having healing services there. We could eat there, but we can't get an outhouse. First of all, they won't flip the bill for an outhouse to be anywhere around there, and then the road is closed. How are you going to get an outhouse in there? Put it way in the back, like on city land probably. Or have our events there. And I thought of having the outhouse way up on top of the hill. The people up there would allow that. I don't know if our people can climb up the hill to get to the outhouse, but on the flat level, maybe they would. But the outhouse would be like, literally, it would cost like a little over $100 an event. We just can't leave it there. It'd be nice. We also plan on putting in some landfill because we have a low area that likes to fill up with water. and that landfill area in the front, and then that'll be our parking. You can park down there when it's not wet, or you're going to get stuck. Mud, you know? Don't venture to do that if it's been raining. Use a little common sense. And so anyway, we will be having our luncheons out at parks, and we don't have a backyard here, but we have a side yard. We have a yard on either side of the house. It's on a corner. And it's nice. It's at least decent. At least there's something, But you have to remember that this apartment went with bargain basement type prices and was attractive. So we'll work with it. I'll work with it till I move and go somewhere else. Wherever I go, the church goes. You have to think about that. Where I go, the church goes. And that's, so I'll have to look for a place more appropriate. And next stop will probably be Cloverleaf Mobile Home Park. They have some modular homes there I was going to check out. No promises. No promises. Or somewhere here on top of the hill. But we have a couple, maybe a year or so before Iran decides to pay us back the favor. And believe me, they're going to clobber the heck out of this country. And we better be ready. Be ready. They will try. They will clobber the heck out of us. And so, and I saw in a dream, like 20, 30 years ago, the Russian uniforms anyway, Russian soldiers taking over my neighborhood where I was raised in East Moline. And so we know this will happen because the Russians are in cahoots with North Korea and a few other negative countries, that are kind of criminal element. We know that. We know who they are. The bad guys. And so anyway, keep that in prayer. Keep those things in prayer. Because we really don't want an invasion. We don't want that. But I think Trump is going to provoke it. Okay? We will see you next week. We're up to 23 minutes so far. We'll see you next week. I'll see you. Bye-bye.